Happy World Book Day from me, Elle McNicoll. I'm in my fluffy blue cloud today, and I'm just wishing everybody a happy World Book Day in 2021. And I'm going to give a shout out to some great schools. Aberlady Primary, Aberlady Primary, where I did my first ever school visit for Kind of Spark. I'm a huge fan as always, and of you guys, and big shout out today on World Book Day. Croxteth Community Primary School, big shout out to you, your wonderful teacher got in touch, and so a big hello to all of you, and thank you for reading A Kind of Spark, which is my book for anyone not aware. Your teacher asked and mentioned that some of you were curious about what happens to Miss Murphy at the end of A Kind of Spark, and the answer to that is that she retired earlier than she'd been planning to, and she'd moved out of Juniper, never to be seen again. So that's what happened to Miss Murphy. If there is ever a sequel to Spark, she will not be in it. So thank you for that question, Croxteth Community Primary School. And also I have questions. Let me just get these questions are from the Flying Bull Academy. Great name. So first question, you guys have been reading Kind of Spark, which is super exciting. First question is, how long did it take to write A Kind of Spark? Well, this is a multi-layered question, because originally the first draft took a few days. I really just sat down at a computer and got that first ever draft out in a few days, and that's because it wasn't very long. And also the reason that it only took a few days is because, like I tell a lot of my not my students, but the people that I talk to about, writing, I always say get that first draft down, turn off that judgmental voice, that editorial voice, and just get the words down as quickly as humanly possible. So the first draft took a couple of days, and then I'd say there were about 4 drafts in total before it was ready to be published, before the proof copies were sent out. So overall, once the publisher saw it, which was in October 2019, it was finished in around I'd say January, February 2020. So, and then published in June 2020. So it took a few months back and forth with the editor. But the very first draft that I wrote before I even took it to a publisher, a couple of days. So that's very rare, and it's very lucky. But I really do believe in getting that first draft down and just not reading back, not going over things, just getting it down. Awesome. Next question. What's your new book about? Great question, because it's out today on World Book Day. It's called Show Us Who You Are. And it's different to Spark because it's not technically a contemporary book. It's actually a sci-fi book. It's set a few years in the future in a futuristic London. No COVID to be seen anywhere, no pandemic, no social distancing. It's in a future where that's all been taken care of. And it's about a girl called Cora who meets this boy called Adrian, and she discovers that they are very similar and that they are also both neurodivergent, and they become best friends very quickly. And his father is the CEO of a company called Pomegranate, and they are using digital technology to bring people back from the dead. In a way, they're making holograms of real people that look and talk and sit and stand like real people. And Cora thinks it's super exciting, and Adrian thinks it's horrible, and it's all about what's really going on at Pomegranate. So it's a little bit like Black Mirror meets Stepford Wives, and I'm so excited that people are loving it so far. With pre-orders are being sent out now, and it's out today on World Book Day. So I really hope that that you'll pick it up and enjoy it. How old were you when you started writing, and what inspired you to write? I was a big reader and a big fan of stories in general, whether they were, film, television, theatre, books. And I think that becoming a writer is a natural progression from that point. From, loving books, you go on to loving writing, just like songwriters and musicians start with loving music and then they move into creating music. It's the same with writers. They go from loving words and stories into making them. So, how crazy is this top? I love it. So, when I was finished reading every book in the library, I just started writing my own, and the girl who sat next to me at school when I was about 9 was my illustrator, so I would write a chapter of a book and I'd pass it along and she would illustrate it. So I was about 9 when I started properly writing. I wrote my first book when I was 9. Who inspires you? My readers. So people, I've not met any readers in person because of this horrible pandemic. I'm being safe, I'm staying at home, and I get to meet through technology, lots of people on Twitter, lots of people on virtual school visits, and the people who inspire, and I'm very lucky that lots of children write to me, send drawings and send letters. they inspire me really. The young neurodivergent readers especially who relate to Addie really, really inspire me, and I love hearing from them. So that's definitely my answer. Where did the character of Addie come from? She came fully formed because I was reading a lot of middle grade, and while the standard was incredibly high, middle grade, so books that are for 9 years and older, standard was incredibly high, lots of amazing stories, I'm sure you know a lot of them. There wasn't anybody like me in them, and I really thought that 11-year-old me needed someone a bit like me, and so Addie came fully formed. She sort of appeared, and she was who she was, and she was ready to be put in a story. So that's where Addie came from. Did you always want to be an author, and what did you have to do to become one? What did I have to do? I always wanted to be an author, always. But what I heard a lot growing up was people saying, that's not a way for you to make a living, or that's not something that anybody succeeds at. You know, the chances of succeeding are enormously small, and that is true. But I definitely listened to those negative voices for far too long. The reason people say things like that, the reason people say, oh, you shouldn't be a singer, dancer, actor, musician, writer, it's too difficult. The reason they say that is because they want you to start saying it to yourself. And so I started doing that. I thought, they're right, you know, writing's incredibly hard and I probably don't have the talent. And I decided I would try and work in publishing instead. I would be, you know, an editor or a proofreader or something, and I was doing interviews to be in publishing, and I saw this incredible publishing house called Knights of, who published both my books. They also publish High Rise Mystery, if any of you know that one. It won the Washington's Children's Book Prize. And I loved them because their whole ethos is that they only publish books by underrepresented writers or books about characters you don't often see in kids' books. I thought that was fantastic, so I set up a meeting with them and I said, look, I know that you're a very small publisher and you probably don't have a lot of jobs going, but if you ever need a neurodivergent editor or a neurodivergent proofreader, I'm here, you know. And they said, well, great, do you have a book? And like I said, I only had that draft that I bashed out in a few days, and I thought, well, I do have a book, you know, there's no harm in letting them see it. And they loved it, and 2 weeks later they bought it, and that's what kickstarted everything. So that's not the normal way of getting published. It kind of happened by accident. So what I'd say about that is, you know, don't let anyone tell you can't be an author or that you're not, you know, that it's too hard. Who cares? That's for you to find out on your own. That's not for anyone else to tell you. So that's what I had to do to become one. So thank you so much, Flying Bull Academy, for those questions. Those are great. And again, thank you to all of the incredible schools that I have had the honour of talking to over the last, you know, almost a year now. Spark came out 9 months ago. Joseph Chamberlain College, I've loved talking to. Croxteth Community Primary School, thank you. Aberlady, and now the Flying Bull Academy. And I'm so excited to talk to all of you again, and hopefully some more schools as now show is out, and I can't wait until it's safe to be in schools again. And we can all talk to each other. So happy World Book Day. This video I think is going out the day before World Book Day, just to be safe, but you know, today World Book Day shows publication day, and there's also a surprise coming which I'm excited about. So thank you so much, and happy World Book Day everyone. Bye.